Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I'm Tina. Today I'm doing a book review of Still by Joanna Cockerline. This is a book from Porcupine's Quill. It came out September 1st, 2025. It's a contemporary fiction. It's Canadian. I received this review copy from River Street Writing in exchange for a fair review, so thank you very much. It's a very pretty cover. A powerhouse of a Canadian contemporary fiction, Still tackles two complex topics, sex work and homelessness, in a thoughtful, compassionate way, while framing it within a somber story of female friendship. What is it about? Still is the story of Kayla, who lives and works on the streets of Kelowna, Canada, and of her friend Lil Zoe, a woman who also works in the sex trade and who has gone missing. Set in a vibrant and diverse community of people living unhoused, the novel explores sex work, street life, and the opioid crisis, what it means to survive and what it means to find a home, especially in oneself. Still is a story of community, friendship, resilience, and hope. So this book was on the long list for the Canadian Giller Prize, which is like our literary fiction prize. And the others must be really good if this one didn't make it to the short list. I thought this book was absolutely excellent. It's fantastic. Where do I start with it? Perhaps the main character. Kayla, as you heard in the blurb, is a sex worker working on the streets of Kelowna, BC, who is such a complex person. She's a prime example of why we shouldn't judge sex workers or the unhoused. And while a lot of reasons why people become one or both of these things are rooted in similar causes, abuse, addiction, broken homes, Kayla's story is also about other things, which are revealed to us as the story unfolds. We sometimes forget when we see someone panhandling in the street or someone we drive by and we think is a sex worker, we kind of see that as them, where that's just a facet of their personality. And this book really shows how the people that we often discard are people, and we should have compassion for them. One of the most honest and raw aspects of the novel is how sex work is addressed. We see Kayla accept jobs and sometimes are told how those unfold, but Kayla is never shamed or vilified by the narrative. And while there are moments of fear and concern, there are also times when she speaks of feeling empowered or even finds her work just work. Sex work is often so looked down on, but a great deal of that is rooted in misogyny because a great deal of sex workers are women. And in Canada, being a sex worker is not a crime, though living off the avails of prostitution, being a pimp essentially, it is a crime. This is not the story of an underage girl becoming coerced into sex work. Those, of course, exist, and those are horrific stories. But of a woman who panics and gets herself into a situation, and she really has no other recourse. She's actually uses being unhoused as a way to hide from something that she feels guilty about, something that she's done. So for her, it's more of a transitory time in her life, even though she's not aware at the time that it is transitory. The other characters help to give the story a bit of color and keep it from being too depressing. While the story is not a happy one and contains some trigger warning content, there are moments of lightness, of joy, and of love, and of human connection. In contrast, I once edited a book about a teenager coerced into sex work as a young teen. It was also a Canadian book, and that was harrowing and utterly depressing. It was also a true story, but this one is hopeful overall, and the side characters not only round out the cast, but are sometimes funny. And they also help Kayla on her journey despite their own troubles, which shows the depths of humanity's compassion for one another and how we create community no matter what the situation is. The story at the heart of the story is very basic. It's kind of a mystery. It's about Kayla trying to find out what happened to her friend Zoe, but that's doing it kind of a disservice to kind of call it a mystery. It's more a deep look into what life is like on the streets, the hardships, the connections, the friendships, and the tragedies. It, above all, humanizes a people who we often deliberately overlook, and I think that that's the book's greatest strength. It's a very compassionate story, and I really loved the approach to it. I can't say too much else about it without getting really kind of like diving deep into it, and I don't really want to do that. I kind of want you to read it on your own. But I just have to say I think it's an absolutely excellent novel, and thank you so much to River Street Writes for sending me this copy. I need to read more of the stuff that's nominated for the prizes, I think, in Canada, because this last year I have been reading a lot more Canadian fiction again. I used to read it a lot when I was younger, but I kind of like the last 10 years I've been really kind of focusing on sci-fi fantasy, but I find I'm really kind of moving back into contemporary fiction. Anyway, thank you very much.